In this video, we will understand the second example of custom model binder in ASP.NET Core Web API application. Since we are using the same application that we have created in this ASP.NET Core video series. In this application, we have countries controller. Now, let's assume we are having single country details. From the details, we are sending one ID from the HTTP request. Using that ID, we need to get some data from database or some other resources. Then we need to manipulate that data. Then we need to bind the complete detail of the country to a parameter in the action method. Let's see how we can do that. First, let's create one more action method in this controller. So copy this method and paste it below that. Here change the method name. Let's say country details. Then remove everything from here we will use model class. See here, we have country model inside this models folder. Let's open it. Inside this country model, let's add one more property. Type is integer and property name is id. Using this id property, we can send the data from the HTTP request. Here we are using this property for learning concept only. Now we will use this country model in our action method. So replace this with country. In the route URL, we need to pass ID. For example, we are sending ID in the HTTP request. Then we will get the country details from database or some other place by using this ID. As of now, we are not using database. So we will use outcoded value. The concept remains same. Let's create one custom model binder in this application. So I will create this class at root level. So right click on project and add, choose class. Class name will be custom binder country. Here we got the new class. So inherit this class from iModel binder. Add the namespace. Now implement the interface. Remove this line from here. Inside this, we have to focus on concepts. So in our scenario, incoming data is ID. First step is we have to find the name of the model, where model name equal binding context dot model name. In our scenario, model name will be ID. Using this ID, we can get the value, where value equal binding context dot value provider dot get value. So in this get value method, we have to pass the model name, that is ID. Now let's see the definition of this get value method. Choose go to definition. See here, its result type is value provider result. From this value provider result, we have to get the actual value. So go back to custom model binder class. Here where result equal value dot first value. Now see the type of result is string. If you are sending integer value, then you need to convert it into an integer. So we can do that by using a try parse method. If int dot parse, for try parse, first parameter is result. Second parameter we have to use out keyword. Then where ID. So ID is the name of the field. If the integer conversion is not successful, then we need to complete the task. So return task.completed task. Based on this ID value, we can get the data from any source. As I told earlier, We are not yet using a database in our video series, so we will use outcoded value here. For that, where model equal new country model, add the namespace. First property is ID. Here we will use the same ID. Then name, let's say India. Then capital, Delhi. Then population, let's say 6 lakh. Now we have the actual model here. Last step is we have to bind it to the result. So we can do that by using binding context dot result model binding result dot success. Here we have to pass the data. So that is model. Finally, we have to complete the task. So return task dot completed task. That's it. What we did here. We will send the ID in the HTTP request. Based on that ID, we will get the um, entire data from the database or other place. Then we will bind the entire data in an object to this result parameter. Now, I want to use this custom model binder in controller action method. Before using this custom model binder directly in action method, we have to make some changes in this country model class. So here we have to define model binder attribute that we are using in this class. Then type of, we have to provide type of. In this type of, we need to specify the name of the custom model binder that which we created here. So custom binder country. Okay. That's it. Now we can use this model binder in action method. So go to countries controller. Here we will use model binder. Here we need to provide the ID. So name equal ID. Now save and run this application. Copy this URL. Open a Postman. Here paste it. Then see the base route here. First we have to open API and then controller name. Then we need to pass the ID to test this method. So here open API, then countries, let's say ID 30. Then click the send button here. We got all the data from outcoded value. In real-time application, we will get the data from database. Now, let's debug in custom model binder. Put a breakpoint in this custom model binder class. Click the send button again. See here model name is ID. Then value 30. Then press F10 to execute the new line. See here in the result we have string type ID. In this model we have all the data. Here we are trying to convert that string into an integer. So we got the integer value ID here. Then based on this ID we are getting some details So we are assigning that values to this binding context.result. Now press F10. So return task completed. Okay, click continue here. So we got the data. This is how we can use custom model binder in ASP.NET Core Web API application. Thanks for watching this video.